If you're a cat person, you just get it. They're not just pets, right? They're these incredible, complicated little family members that bring so much into our homes. But have you ever stopped to think about what we really owe them in return? Today, we're going to dig into the official guide to a happy cat, and you might be surprised to find out that a lot of it is actually rooted in law.
I mean, they make our lives so much better in so many ways. And because of that, we have this kind of unwritten social contract with them. We have a fundamental duty of care.
But here's the kicker, and something that a lot of people don't realize. That duty, it isn't just a nice idea or a moral thing. In a lot of places, it's a legal requirement. It is literally written into law.
Okay, so let's get into what that actually means. The Welfare of Animals Act breaks this duty down into what it calls the 5 needs. Now, this isn't just some friendly advice from a blog. Nope, this is a legal framework that every single owner is required to provide. So let's go through these 5 needs one by one. First up, we've got the need for a suitable environment. And this is all about your cat's physical world, their home, their territory, basically their entire kingdom. And to really understand this, you've got to ask yourself a really important question. What does your home actually look like from your cat's point of view? I mean, really think about it. Is it a fun playground, or is it a scary minefield? Is it a cozy safe spot, or is it actually a source of stress? Okay, so this checklist really breaks it down. A cat-friendly home has a quiet place where they can sleep and know they won't be bothered. They need hiding spots to feel safe, and you'll notice they especially love being up high where they can see everything. Of course, you need to protect them from obvious dangers, but you also have to give them things to climb and jump on. They need that outlet. And, super important, a clean and easy-to-access toilet area is a total must. Getting these things right is your first line of defense against a stressed-out cat.
Now, the official code is super clear about a few things. And this is a big one. You should never, ever tether a cat. It's incredibly restrictive, it's terrifying for them, and it can be really, really dangerous. It's just an absolute no-go.
And here's another non-negotiable rule that can literally be the difference between life and death. A car turns into an oven in just a few minutes. Never, ever leave your cat alone in a vehicle when it's warm out. Not even for a second.
All right, let's move on to the second of the 5 needs, providing a suitable diet. You might think, okay, food and water, easy enough. But there are a few little details here that make a huge difference. So here's something that so many owners get wrong, and it's not their fault. They just don't know. Cats are hardwired by instinct not to eat or drink anywhere near where they go to the bathroom. You know, in the wild, that avoids contamination. So the takeaway here is simple. Put their food and water bowls far away from the litter box and try to put them in a quiet spot where they won't be startled. Okay, this little chart from the guide is fantastic. How can you tell if your cat's at a healthy weight? Well, you can do a quick check at home. For a cat at an ideal weight, you should be able to feel their ribs pretty easily, but you shouldn't really be able to see them. And when you look down at them from above, you should see a little indent, a visible waist. If you can't feel those ribs easily, or they look more like a little barrel with no waist, they might be carrying a few extra pounds. It's a really practical way to keep an eye on their health. All right, on to need number 3. This one's all about their mental health, their psychological well-being. It's the need to be able to show their normal behaviors. Or, to put it simply, you gotta let a cat be a cat. And this quote right here is basically the golden rule of living with a cat. The official code says it plain as day. Never shout at or punish your cat. And the reason why it's so important, they won't get why you're mad. All it does is teach them to be scared of you, which totally breaks that bond of trust and usually makes any bad behavior even worse. So if punishment doesn't work, what does? Positive reinforcement. It's all about giving them good outlets for their natural instincts, like fun toys to hunt and a great scratching post for their claws. It means respecting their personal space and letting them sleep when they want to sleep. And most importantly, it means rewarding them when they do something you like. That's how you build a real bond, one that's based on trust instead of fear. Okay, next up is need number 4. This one is all about their social life, how they get along with you, with your family, and with any other animals in the house. If you want peace in your home, especially a multi-pet home, there are some key rules. Rule 1, never, ever force your cat to hang out with a person or another animal that it doesn't like. And if you have more than one cat, you need more than one of everything. We're talking extra food bowls, extra litter boxes, extra beds. The key is that every cat needs to be able to get to what it needs without having to walk past another cat that scares it. That's how you avoid conflict.
And that brings us to the fifth and final need, which might be the most important one of all. It's the need to be protected from pain, suffering, injury, and disease. This is all about being proactive with their healthcare for their whole life.
Now, something you have to understand about cats is that they are masters, absolute masters of hiding when they're in pain. It's a survival instinct from way back. So, as their person, you have to be a bit of a detective. You're looking for small, subtle changes. Are they hiding more than usual? Are they eating or drinking differently? Is their grooming changing? These little shifts are often the very first sign that something's not right. And this just shows you why being proactive is such a game changer. So many of the most common health problems in cats, things like fleas and worms, cat flu, feline leukemia, even some forms of diabetes, are either completely preventable or can be managed really well with regular vet checkups, vaccinations, and a good diet. And speaking of prevention, get ready for this number, 18. A single female cat that hasn't been neutered can have up to 18 kittens in just 1 year. When you hear that, you start to understand why one particular healthcare decision is so incredibly important.
Yeah, neutering is about so much more than just preventing kittens, even though that's a huge deal. It provides massive health and safety benefits. For female cats, it prevents really nasty womb infections and slashes their risk of getting certain cancers. For males, it dials down their instinct to roam and fight, which means fewer accidents and less chance of spreading serious diseases like FIV. Bottom line, neutering helps cats live longer, healthier lives. It's as simple as that.
So, as we wrap this up, you can see that all 5 of these needs, their environment, their food, their behavior, their social life, and their health, they all really come back to one central idea. The entire official guide is challenging us to do just one thing, and that's the question I want to leave you with. Are you really seeing your home and your life together through your cat's eyes?